Hi. Let's see how comfortable I can be facing across the camera. I don't know. Hi. Hi, Remy. Yes. Yeah, go on. No, I didn't say come to this side to be petted. No. Down. No. No. Yeah, he's really friendly. He's a puppy. Anyways, so I visited Astoria again just a week ago, actually. Well, I drove through Astoria on my way someplace, and then I drove through Astoria on the way back. And on the way back, as we have done the last few years, we stopped at Fort George, which is a wonderful brewery. If you get the chance, you should visit it. If you don't get the chance, you should drink Fort George beer, because it's wonderful beer, if you get it. So earlier this year, Fort George released their three-way, which is a collaboration between Fort George and Shred and Uprise. And I was ignorant of this until this year, but the three-way is actually three separate beers. So I had the pink can, which I believe is just a West Coast IPA. There's also a blue can and a green can. And so I got the blue can. The green can's in the fridge. I'll do another video for that. But there is some question marks on this. So on Untapped, the blue can is labeled as a New Zealand IPA, whereas on the can right here it says West Coast IPA. So I don't know. I'm just drinking the blue one. Hey, welcome to another episode of Chewing the Brew. How's that for some cool can art? Hitting all the highlights of Astoria pop culture there. I remember commenting, actually I don't remember, I do remember, but I just watched the video again to refresh my memory of the pink can, whichever one that is, commenting how pale the beer was in that. I also looked up the hops that are used in all these beers, and it was interesting to note that there are a couple, like there's Citra, and then there's Citra Cryo. And there were Chinook and Chinook Cryo. Chinook is like the hop for West Coast IPAs, for IPAs here in the Northwest, and it's used a lot of other places. It's a real kind of a workhorse hop. Citra is brighter citrus note hop. I believe I had Stoop Citra. You can check that video out from a couple weeks ago, quite recently. But the cryo is a method of extracting and preserving the hop volatile compounds, things that tend to get lost in the hop storage process, hop kilning and storage. And as a result, like the beers that are made using traditionally kilned and preserved hops, they're not going to have the full range of hop flavors and aromas because these compounds are volatile. And I remember having, I think it was something, a Big Smile, if I recall correctly, 2 years ago. I believe I was up on my balcony right over there when I recorded it. So it was within the last 3 years, because we just moved to this house like 3 years ago next week, if I recall properly. Actually, no. Yeah, 3 years ago next week. That's right, because it was like the day after my oldest boy's birthday. Or the day before. And I was really, really interested. I found particularly interesting that Big Smile cryo beer, just how big and bodacious and floral and fruity, huge in the nose, those cryo hops were. So it is interesting to note that modern beers are utilizing cryo hops. It's become a thing now. And I should really stop talking about this and start smelling it and drinking it, because the can does say, don't age, drink fresh, keep cold. And it's only like mid-70s out here, so it's not like it's heating up too quickly, but drink fresh. Very tropical. Forgive me if I'm squinty. My left eye feels dry this afternoon. I mean, there's definitely the Citra hops in there. Definitely. I would say the Citra hops are playing the lion's role in the aroma game here. Very, very bright, like mandarin, but also some pineapple in there as well. And I'm trying to remember now, because I thought that the blue can was the New Zealand can, and it might be. This might just be some confusion in labeling. But frankly, I trust this can's label more than I trust the data in Untapped, so I don't know. I don't recall, I seem to recall that Citra was a New Zealand hop. I'm pretty sure Galaxy and Nelson. Nelson is the big New Zealand hop. That's right. I do not remember whether Nelson was in this ingredient list. I don't think it was, though. I think that would have stood out to me. And I'm recording with my phone, so I don't have it to look up, right? It smells good. It smells very analogous to the pink can. Okay. I mean, it tastes good too. I'm guessing they have the same pale ale base in here, so the malt is surprisingly present, which is very pleasant. I like that. It's more the finish. Initially, it is that really tropical thing that you expect from like a New Zealand IPA. That I think these are Nelson hops, because there was I'm trying to remember. It was Nelson Hose was the beer I had at Oli Taproom 3 years ago, possibly during Fresh Hop Festival, and it was just a bodacious banger of a weird beer that I loved. I believe I talked about it on the channel at one point. But it has that similar kind of tropical funk, right? It's like you're in the jungle and there's all that rotting vegetation on the ground, which, yes, you can think of that as an unpleasant thing, but it's not. Or you can also think of it as a pleasant thing, right? There's the funkiness, there's the tropical, and there's the funk. I like that. It's really analogous to the verdant green notes that I really like in a West Coast IPA. That funkiness can kind of read as green, and I like that. I like that part of the beer. There goes Suki running from one side of the popper to the other because she heard people. Now, if only she would chase away the deer that are eating the fruit trees. I miss Kimber. So this is a nicely dry beer. I like that. While it has the big, bodacious cryo hop aroma, the flavor is very, very much not as sweet as you might think, considering the fruity aroma. Instead, it's tropical bitterness, this nice funk, this really clean malt, and then this building. This might be the West Coast. This real building West Coast bitter bite, which is just so nice. I know this is this year's because it's Uprise and Shred, and it's the same can art. I'm just second guessing myself all over the place. I don't know. The aroma building in the mouth is West Coast. The thing I like about West Coast, that really nice, verdant green, juniper, pine tree kind of build that I believe comes from the Chinooks. And I just really like it. It's a good beer and I'm enjoying it. So yeah, 3 stars. 3 stars for Fort George 3-way in the blue can Whether it be New Zealand or West Coast, it says West Coast on the can, but online it says New Zealand. I don't know, but it's a good beer. And I'm guessing this is pretty limited distribution. We got the pink cans up here in Olympia earlier, about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, and they were super good, and I really enjoyed them, and they're all gone now. I did not look at Spuds. I looked at Fred Meyer, and I checked Costco several times. I didn't check Safeway, but usually Fred Meyer has Fort George stuff, so I figured they were a safe place to check, and I haven't had a reason to go other places. So I don't know how well distributed the blue cans and the green cans are, but I got my 4-pack of each, and I'm definitely going to enjoy them. And I will catch y'all on the flip side.